Hello, I'm Matthew Malcolm with American Vineyard Magazine, reporting to you here today with Michael Miller from California Association of Winegrape Growers here in Sacramento. COG, you guys do a great job at advocating on behalf of the industry, and there's no shortage of issues to deal with. And, with fires, wildfires, a big topic of interest or in concern as we go into potentially another year of drought. Even if we do get rain, there's still tons of dead debris out there. A lot of our vineyards are located near wildlands, and some of those are on the vineyard property. But as growers try to be a little more proactive in taking care of that debris, it sounds like they're running up against some stumbling blocks in being able to physically do that. Can you tell us about that?
Sure. So in areas especially like Napa, Sonoma, Mendocino County, foothills, Central Coast area as well, Monterey, Santa Barbara, those areas where you have, hills, and you've got a vineyard right next to a forestry area, right? So you've got trees that are on the property of the vineyard owner. And the vineyard owner, in many cases, wants to go in and take out dead trees. They want to go in, they want to clean up the underbrush. They want to make sure that they're managing the fuels for a fire in order to prevent a fire. And that's a reasonable step, and that's a responsible thing to do. And in many cases, there are fire-safe community efforts where people are working together in concert with local officials, nonprofits, private property owners. They're all trying to work together to resolve this issue. The continuing problem is, one, a lack of funding for that effort, because it isn't cheap to take out a dead tree. It could be thousands of dollars to hire a company to come in and take out a few dozen dead trees. It's a major expenditure. On top of that, there's all kinds of regulatory challenges to it too. You've got a timber harvest permit that you may need to get. You have CEQA that applies to the plant species. So while a grower may be going through those regulatory proceedings to get this thing together, get it approved to manage that land, in the meantime, what's happening is you have invasive plant species that are coming in because the property isn't managed properly. The invasive plant species then become fuel for the next fire. And you create this cycle where we're really not doing a good job of managing those fuels. So we're working closely with regulators and with legislators, frankly. We had a policymakers tour. We brought a bunch of legislative staff to Napa, Sonoma area. We showed them some of the damage that's caused by the fires in 2020 and 2017, and they could see firsthand. We had them meet with county officials. We had them meet with the NGOs and nonprofits who are working in this area, and we walked them through, what the problems and the challenges are, and they're very sympathetic to what we had to show them, because when you step back from the whole thing and really look at it, you got to manage these properties. You have to manage these fuels, or this problem is never going away. Jerry Brown said that we're in a year-round fire season now, and I think he was right. It's when you look at our long periods of drought. You look at when we get the atmospheric rivers that come in, and you get a big amount of rainfall, so you get some growth there, but then that plant life just dies out right away and becomes fuel. You're now getting a cycle that's just going to get worse and worse and worse. So we really have to step up and manage our fuels better. Last year, the legislature came up with quite a bit of funding for this effort. We have to do more. We have a long way to go, and we're working hard to get there. I think we'll get there.
Yeah, like I said, grape growers are very proactive, and they want to protect their investment, and they should have the liberty to be able to protect their investments.
It's not just their investment, too. Remember, in many cases, the vineyard itself is a fire break, right? If the vineyard is green and it's lush, fires will go over, embers will fly over the vineyard. So what you're talking about is a protection of the entire community, right? It's all the neighbors of the vineyards, it's the structures on the vineyard property, it's the wineries, it's everything all involved. And so our members, especially in those areas I mentioned, are very active on this issue, and they need some help and they need some solutions, and we're gonna push for it. We're working hard in that area.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your efforts. Read more about these things in American Vineyard Magazine. I'm Matthew Malcolm, CaliforniaAgNet.com.